Unit 3, Lesson 1, Dialogues. Making an appointment. Listen.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Barbara. How was Houston?
What was Ronald Jordan like?
Houston was fine, but Ronald Jordan was a real bore. Any important messages, Jean?
Yes. There were several calls from the New Orleans office. You have to call Ruth Goldstein, the head researcher there, about the jazz documentary. The number's on your desk.
LTD, good morning.
I'd like to speak to Ruth Goldstein, extension 428, please.
I'll put you through. I'm sorry, she's on the line. Can I put you on hold?
No. Can I speak to her assistant?
Yes. I'll put you through to Kevin Ryan.
Kevin Ryan?
Hello, Kevin. This is Barbara Rivers speaking. I'm returning Ruth Goldstein's call. She phoned while I was out.
Oh, hi, Barbara. Ruth wanted to make an appointment to discuss the jazz documentary. Can you come to our New Orleans office tomorrow at 3 p.m.?
Tomorrow?
Yes. The cameraman is already here.
Okay. Tomorrow at 3. See you then. Bye.
Goodbye, Barbara. Have a good flight.
Thanks.
Hi, Barbara. There's an urgent message for...
I know. I called back. The meeting's tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We changed the schedule.
Oh, well. But I wanted to stay in New York at least for a couple of days.
Oh. And Barbara, there's something else. We won't stay in a hotel this time. We have a big house for the whole crew.
Who's on the crew?
There's the cameraman who worked with us on the Vanderbilt interview, Tom Ryder, and...
Oh, great.
Now listen and repeat.
How was Houston?
What was Ronald Jordan like?
Any important messages, Jean?
I'd like to speak to Ruth Goldstein, extension 428, please.
I'll put you through.
I'm sorry, she's on the line.
Can I put you on hold?
Can I speak to her assistant?
I'm returning Ruth Goldstein's call.
We changed the schedule. Unit 3, Oral Practice 1. Exercise 1. Listen.
I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, you were, they were.
Now listen to the example. He's in Tokyo.
Last week.
He was in Tokyo last week. Now it's your turn. He's in Tokyo.
Last week.
He was in Tokyo last week. Jack and Deanne are in LA.
Last year.
Jack and Deanne were in LA last year. We're so happy to see you.
Yesterday.
We were so happy to see you yesterday. I'm in a coffee shop.
At 5 o'clock.
I was in a coffee shop at 5 o'clock. Kathy's in New York.
On Friday.
Kathy was in New York on Friday. It's sunny.
Yesterday.
It was sunny yesterday. The president and vice president of Texas Oil are in a meeting.
Yesterday.
The president and vice president of Texas Oil were in a meeting yesterday. Exercise 2. Listen. Was Jane in Europe last summer?
Yes.
Yes, she was in Europe last summer. Were the children in the garden yesterday?
No.
No, they weren't in the garden yesterday. Now it's your turn. Was Jane in Europe last summer?
Yes.
Yes, she was in Europe last summer.
Were the children in the garden yesterday?
No.
No, they weren't in the garden yesterday.
Were Jeff's friends happy to see him?
Yes.
Yes, Jeff's friends were happy to see him.
Was Kathy in Seattle last month?
No.
No, she wasn't in Seattle last month.
Was the engineer working in Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Yes, he was working in Saudi Arabia.
Were your parents in Bermuda last week?
No.
No, they weren't in Bermuda last week. Exercise 3. Listen.
I always return her calls.
Yesterday.
I returned her call yesterday. Now it's your turn.
I always return her calls.
Yesterday.
I returned her call yesterday.
She calls me every day.
This morning.
She called me this morning.
I want to set up an interview.
Yesterday.
I wanted to set up an interview yesterday.
Tom's working with us.
Last month.
Tom worked with us last month.
She's changing her clothes.
This afternoon.
She changed her clothes this afternoon.
Kevin and Ruth always work a lot.
Last week.
Kevin and Ruth worked a lot last week. Exercise 4. Listen.
You smoke too much.
Please stop smoking.
Now it's your turn.
You smoke too much.
Please stop smoking.
You talk too much.
Please stop talking.
You eat too much.
Please stop eating.
You drink too much.
Please stop drinking.
You work too much.
Please stop working.
Exercise 5. Listen.
The cameraman is very good. He worked with us yesterday.
The cameraman, who worked with us yesterday, is very good.
Now it's your turn.
The cameraman is very good. He worked with us yesterday.
The cameraman, who worked with us yesterday, is very good.
The cook is excellent. He prepared dinner yesterday.
The cook, who prepared dinner yesterday, is excellent.
The engineers are very good. They worked with us yesterday.
The engineers, who worked with us yesterday, are very good.
The new vice president is really boring. She talked to me yesterday.
The new vice president who talked to me yesterday is really boring.
Exercise 6. Listen.
She called. I was out.
She called while I was out.
Now it's your turn.
She called. I was out.
She called while I was out.
My mother phoned. I was at the theater.
My mother phoned while I was at the theater.
His boss wanted to see him. He was playing golf.
His boss wanted to see him while he was playing golf.
Our friends called. We were out.
Our friends called while we were out.
Ruth telephoned. Barbara was on a trip.
Ruth phoned while Barbara was on a trip.
Mr. Jackson called. Miss Sanchez was in a meeting.
Mr. Jackson called while Miss Sanchez was in a meeting. break 1. Listen.
Number 1. Hello. Can I speak to Jenny Sims, please?
I'm sorry, there's no one of that name here. I think you have the wrong number.
2. Hello, switchboard. Can you put me through to Jenny Sims, please?
I'm sorry, sir, but Miss Sims is on the line.
3.
Hello. I'm afraid I'm out at the moment, but please leave a message after the beep, and I'll call you back as soon as possible. Thank you.
4. Hello. Can I speak to Jenny Sims, please?
Speaking.
Jenny? Is that you? I don't believe it.
Lesson 2. Dialogues. A life. Listen.
Okay, Barbara. Where do you want to begin?
With Marcus Jackson. He was brilliant. I heard him play the saxophone in Chicago. I'll never forget it.
Okay, let's see. I have his biography here. Marcus Jackson. He was born in a small town in southern Georgia. He came from a poor family. His father was a farm worker, and Marcus was the youngest of 10 children. He had very little schooling and left home when he was 15. Later he went to San Francisco, where he joined the Navy.
When did he start playing jazz?
In the early 50s. He traveled to Japan and lived in Yokohama for 4 years. He played in a small bar there and became quite well known. He came back to the States in 1954 and met up with Boots Robinson. They made their first record in 1955, which was a big hit.
Didn't he also play with Bobby Lee for a while?
Yes, and they got married in 1960. They didn't have any children. They settled here in New Orleans and then moved to New York, where they lived until Marcus's death in 1963.
Where did he play in New Orleans?
In a little bar in the French Quarter. It's got a great atmosphere. It's just like it was 40 years ago.
Good. I'll go there tomorrow night. Where is it?
It's in a small alley off Bourbon Street. It's called the Blue Lagoon.
Great.
Before you go, take these records. Listen to them. I think you'll like them.
Now listen and repeat.
Where do you want to begin?
I'll never forget it.
He was born in a small town in southern Georgia.
He was the youngest of 10 children.
He left home when he was 15.
They got married in 1960.
They didn't have any children.
They moved to New York, where they lived until Marcus's death. Unit 3, Oral Practice 2, Exercise 1. Listen.
They're making a record.
They made a record.
Now it's your turn.
They're making a record.
They made a record.
He comes from Georgia.
He came from Georgia.
I'm getting married.
I got married.
She leads an interesting life.
She led an interesting life.
He has 3 children.
He had 3 children.
I'm leaving Paris.
I left Paris.
They're meeting me at the airport.
They met me at the airport.
Exercise 2. Listen.
He traveled to Japan.
Did he travel to Japan?
Now it's your turn.
He traveled to Japan.
Did he travel to Japan?
He lived in Yokohama.
Did he live in Yokohama?
She got married in 1960.
Did she get married in 1960?
They came back to the States in 1954.
Did they come back to the States in 1954?
She didn't have any children.
Did she have any children?
I moved to New York.
Did you move to New York?
Exercise 3. Listen.
I heard him play the saxophone, not the violin.
I didn't hear him play the violin.
Now it's your turn.
I heard him play the saxophone, not the violin.
I didn't hear him play the violin.
I went to Moscow, not to Leningrad.
I didn't go to Leningrad.
I came back on Wednesday, not on Thursday.
I didn't come back on Thursday.
They met up in Georgia, not in California.
They didn't meet up in California.
She made a record, not a video clip.
She didn't make a video clip.
I got married in 1985, not in 1987.
I didn't get married in 1987.
Exercise 4. Listen.
I went there at 3 p.m.
2 hours.
I went there 2 hours ago. Now it's your turn.
I went there at 3 p.m.
2 hours.
I went there 2 hours ago.
She played in a jazz bar in July.
6 months.
She played in a jazz bar 6 months ago.
He left the house at 4:15.
A quarter of an hour.
He left the house a quarter of an hour ago.
They traveled to Miami last week.
A week.
They traveled to Miami a week ago.
We changed our schedule on Tuesday.
4 days.
We changed our schedule 4 days ago. Exercise 5. Listen.
She lived in the States from 86 to 88.
2 years.
She lived in the States for 2 years. Now it's your turn.
She lived in the States from 86 to 88.
2 years.
She lived in the States for 2 years.
I worked as a secretary from 78 to 81.
3 years.
I worked as a secretary for 3 years.
I watched television from 7 to 8 o'clock.
An hour.
I watched television for an hour.
He played in a jazz bar from 65 to 68.
3 years.
He played in a jazz bar for 3 years. Exercise 6. Listen.
They made a record. It was a big hit.
They made a record, which was a big hit.
Now it's your turn.
They made a record. It was a big hit.
They made a record, which was a big hit.
They wrote a book. It became a bestseller.
They wrote a book, which became a bestseller.
They rented a house. It wasn't in a very good part of town.
They rented a house, which wasn't in a very good part of town.
They made a film. Millions of people went to see it.
They made a film which millions of people went to see.
I stopped at the beach. It has the biggest waves in California.
I stopped at the beach, which has the biggest waves in California.
Exercise 7. Listen.
Interesting.
Now repeat.
Interesting. Chicago. Biography. Brilliant. Vacation. Musician. Pedestrian.
Unit 3. Take a break. Unit 3. Take a break 2. Listen.
Put on the skillet, put on the lid. Mam's gonna make a little chocolate bread. But that ain't all she's gonna do. Mam's gonna make a little coffee too. Mam's gonna make a little chocolate, mam's gonna make a little chocolate bread. Mam's gonna make a little chocolate, mam's gonna make a little chocolate bread. Up in the morning, the mammy said, wow, Matt Chimney's still in bed. Sent for the doctor said, feed the kids and chocolate bread. Mammy said, make a little chocolate, mammy said, make a little chocolate bread. Mammy said, make a little chocolate, mammy said, make a little chocolate bread.
Unit 3. Lesson 3. Dialogues. In a house in New Orleans. Listen.
Oh no. Oh hell. Where's the flashlight? I can't see anything. Hello? Who's there?
Is anyone home?
Who's that? Who is it?
It's only me, Tom. Wow, what a storm. I'm all wet. What happened to the lights?
There's no electricity.
It's because of the storm.
I figured that out, Einstein. I can't find the flashlight. Do you have a lighter?
No, I don't smoke.
Well, don't just stand there. Help me look for the flashlight.
I think I saw it in the kitchen.
What's that? Ah! Something just touched me.
Didn't you hear? A crocodile escaped from the zoo this morning.
Oh, shut up.
Hey, I'm only kidding.
God, I hate storms. Maybe the flashlight's in this cupboard. Ow! Oh, damn!
Did you hurt yourself?
No, but why don't you come here and do something?
Stop shouting at me and calm down.
I am calm, and I'm not shouting at you. Oh, what a relief. Now we can see what we're doing. Oh, God, do I need a drink.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm sorry I lost my temper. Storms make me nervous.
It's okay. Let's go out and find a bar.
I know of a nice little jazz bar in the French Quarter. It's called the Blue Lagoon.
Now listen and repeat.
Unit 3, Oral Practice 3. Exercise 1. Listen.
Barbara won't see Tom tomorrow.
Barbara will see Tom tomorrow.
Barbara didn't talk to Tom yesterday.
Barbara talked to Tom yesterday.
Now it's your turn.
Barbara won't see Tom tomorrow.
Barbara will see Tom tomorrow.
Barbara didn't talk to Tom yesterday.
Barbara talked to Tom yesterday.
I didn't go out yesterday.
I went out yesterday.
The crocodiles didn't escape from the zoo.
The crocodiles escaped from the zoo.
I'm not learning English.
I'm learning English.
She doesn't know Jim.
She knows Jim.
They won't go to the jazz bar tonight.
They'll go to the jazz bar tonight.
I don't like desserts.
I like desserts. Exercise 2. Listen. Did the children go out?
No.
No, they didn't. Did your husband call you?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Now it's your turn. Did the children go out?
No.
No, they didn't. Did your husband call you?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Are you going to Montreal tomorrow?
No.
No, I'm not. Do you think it will rain tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Will the electricity come back on soon?
No.
No, it won't. Is it raining?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Exercise 3. Listen. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. Now listen to the example. I like working by myself.
He.
He likes working by himself. Now it's your turn. I like working by myself.
He.
He likes working by himself.
They.
They like working by themselves.
She.
She likes working by herself.
I.
I like working by myself.
He.
He likes working by himself.
You. Singular.
You like working by yourself.
You. Plural.
You like working by yourselves. Exercise 4. Listen.
I don't know anyone.
I know someone.
I can see something.
I can't see anything. Now it's your turn.
I don't know anyone.
I know someone.
I can see something.
I can't see anything.
I phoned someone last night.
I didn't phone anyone last night.
He can't do anything about it.
He can do something about it.
We don't know anyone in New York.
We know someone in New York.
They know something about science.
They don't know anything about science.
You were shouting at someone.
You weren't shouting at anyone.
He wasn't doing anything.
He was doing something. Exercise 5. Listen. You make me happy.
Nervous.
You make me nervous.
Him.
You make him nervous. Now it's your turn. You make me happy.
Nervous.
You make me nervous.
Him.
You make him nervous.
Angry.
You make him angry.
Her.
You make her angry.
Happy.
You make her happy.
Them.
You make them happy.
Sad.
You make them sad.
Me.
You make me sad.
Glad.
You make me glad.
Us.
You make us glad. Exercise 6. Listen. The restaurant closes at 1 a.m.
When?
When does the restaurant close? Now it's your turn.
The restaurant closes at 1 a.m.
When?
When does the restaurant close?
He always goes to a Mexican bar.
Which?
Which bar does he always go to?
She never eats dessert because she wants to get thin.
Why?
Why does she never eat dessert?
She cooks chili con carne very long and slowly.
How?
How does she cook chili con carne?
I buy my vegetables at the supermarket.
Where?
Where do you buy your vegetables? Unit 3. Take a break 3. Listen. Number 1.
There will be high winds during the morning and afternoon. Temperatures will rise to 60 degrees, but the sky will remain cloudy.
2.
There will be heavy rain during the morning. This will clear during the afternoon, and temperatures will reach the 80s.
3.
There will be severe storms, and the hot weather will continue with temperatures between 80 and 90 degrees.
4.
There will be fog in the morning with a strong southwesterly wind. The temperature will be in the 40s.
5.
There will be scattered showers with occasional patches of sunshine and temperatures varying between a low of 17 degrees and a high of 25 degrees.
6.
The hot weather will continue with sunshine all day and temperatures between 90 and 105 degrees.
Unit 3, Lesson 4, Dialogues. The Blue Lagoon. Listen.
Can I get you a drink?
No, I'll get these. It's my turn. Another Black Russian?
Yeah, thanks.
Miss, a Black Russian and a double Scotch on the rocks, please.
Yeah, sure. Oh, excuse me. Aren't you Barbara Rivers of 30 Minutes?
Yes, that's right.
Oh. Could I have your autograph?
Of course.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, wow.
The drinks?
Oh, sure.
Don't you ever get tired of being famous?
You get used to it. Anyway, you're pretty well known yourself in the film world. How long have you been a cameraman?
Since I moved to L.A.
And how long have you lived in L.A.?
For 10 years.
What did you do before that?
Lots of things. I drove a truck. I gave Spanish lessons. I went around the world. Gee, do you realize you're interviewing me? Let me ask you some questions. Have you always been a TV reporter?
No, I've done other things too.
Like what?
Oh, it's a long story.
Hey! Aren't you Barbara Rivers?
Jack!
Where have you been?
Oh, it's great to see you.
Another fan?
Oh, not exactly. Jack's an old friend. He's also a brilliant jazz pianist.
Sure, I'm a fan. Barbara's one of the best jazz singers I ever worked with. She used to be a singer at the happy hour.
See, Tom, even TV journalists have their secret pasts.
Hey, I want to know all about it.
Some other time. Let's listen to the music. I love the song.
Now listen and repeat.
Unit 3, Oral Practice 4. Exercise 1. Listen.
I've been to the States.
They.
They've been to the States. Now it's your turn.
I've been to the States.
They.
They've been to the States.
I've lived in South America.
She.
She's lived in South America.
She's worked as a waitress.
I've worked as a waitress.
I've been ill for 10 days.
You.
You've been ill for 10 days.
You've worked very hard this year.
We.
We've worked very hard this year.
We've always wanted to live in France.
He.
He's always wanted to live in France.
He's always loved her.
They.
They've always loved her. Exercise 2. Listen.
How long have you lived in L.A.?
1977.
I've lived in L.A. since 1977.
How long have they lived in Pittsburgh?
12 years.
They've lived in Pittsburgh for 12 years. Now it's your turn.
How long have you lived in L.A.?
1977.
I've lived in L.A. since 1977.
How long have they lived in Pittsburgh?
12 years.
They've lived in Pittsburgh for 12 years.
How long have you been here?
2 o'clock.
I've been here since 2 o'clock.
How long have you worked in television?
10 years.
I've worked in television for 10 years.
How long have you lived in New York?
January.
I've lived in New York since January. Exercise 3. Listen.
I started working as a waitress 3 weeks ago.
I've worked as a waitress for 3 weeks. Now it's your turn.
I started working as a waitress 3 weeks ago.
I've worked as a waitress for 3 weeks.
He started playing tennis 6 months ago.
He's played tennis for 6 months.
They started renting a house 3 years ago.
They've rented a house for 3 years.
We started living in Toronto 4 months ago.
We've lived in Toronto for 4 months.
She started being ill 10 days ago.
She's been ill for 10 days.
I started playing the piano 10 years ago.
I've played the piano for 10 years. Exercise 4. Listen.
I've always lived in San Francisco.
Have you always lived in San Francisco?
Now it's your turn.
I've always lived in San Francisco.
Have you always lived in San Francisco?
I've always worked in television.
Have you always worked in television?
I've always been interested in jazz.
Have you always been interested in jazz?
He's always been a good friend.
Has he always been a good friend?
They've always played great rock music.
Have they always played great rock music?
She's always traveled around a lot.
Has she always traveled around a lot?
Exercise 5. Listen.
Yes, I've been to China.
Have you ever been to China?
Now it's your turn.
Yes, I've been to China.
Have you ever been to China?
Yes, I've lived in Seattle.
Have you ever lived in Seattle?
Yes, he's worked as a manager.
Has he ever worked as a manager?
Yes, they've been to Germany.
Have they ever been to Germany?
Yes, they've prepared reports.
Have they ever prepared reports?
Yes, she's traveled around.
Has she ever traveled around?
Exercise 6. Listen.
A drink.
Could I have a drink?
Now it's your turn.
A drink.
Could I have a drink?
An ice cream.
Could I have an ice cream?
Some black coffee.
Could I have some black coffee?
Some apple pie.
Could I have some apple pie?
Exercise 7. Listen and repeat.
Can I get you a drink?
Would you mind giving me your autograph?
Where have you been?
I'm sorry I lost my temper. Unit 3. Take a break 4. Listen. Unit 3. Take a break 4. Listen.
Till I can't see no more. Give me one more drink, honey, till I can't see no more. Well, I've got my baby and it just won't treat me right.
Unit 3, Lesson 5, Dialogues. At the airport. Listen.
Flight number 503 to Miami is now boarding. Passengers are kindly requested to proceed to gate number 6.
Are you both on the Alpha Airlines flight to New York?
The lady is. I'm on the LA flight. I've already checked in.
That flight's been delayed. It's now leaving at 11:30. Can I have your ticket, miss? Would you prefer a seat in the smoking or the non-smoking section?
Smoking, please. And a window seat if that's possible.
Yes. Here's your boarding card. You have to be at gate 14 20 minutes before departure. Have a good flight.
Well, Barbara, you're on your way back to the Big Apple. You know something? I didn't really like you when I first met you.
I didn't like you either.
I hope you changed your mind.
Maybe. I hope we work together again sometime. Then I'll tell you.
Well, the last 2 weeks have been a lot of fun.
Do you remember the night at the Blue Lagoon?
Your friend Jack was so funny. I've never laughed so much in my life.
I think we were all a bit drunk.
And remember the storm?
Do you know, I really believed that story about the crocodile?
I swear it was true. It was right there in front of you.
Don't start
Flight
again.
number 352 to New York is now boarding. Passengers are
Oh,
kindly
God,
requested
that's my flight.
to proceed
I've got to
to
go.
14.
I hate saying goodbye.
Yeah, so do I.
See you sometime. Bye, Tom.
Hey, wait a minute. I haven't heard you sing yet. Call me in LA and leave a song on my answering machine.
Now listen and repeat.
I've already checked in.
Would you prefer a seat in the smoking or non-smoking section?
Have a good flight.
I hope you've changed your mind.
I hope we work together sometime.
Do you remember the night at the Blue Lagoon?
I've got to go.
5. Exercise 1. Listen.
He went to Tokyo on business last year.
Many times.
He's been to Tokyo on business many times. Now it's your turn.
He went to Tokyo on business last year.
Many times.
He's been to Tokyo on business many times.
The company made excellent profits in February.
Since March.
The company has made excellent profits since March.
The boss traveled to China on business in July.
Often.
The boss has often traveled to China on business.
Jane took a coast-to-coast trip last month.
Never.
Jane has never taken a coast-to-coast trip.
The company invested a lot last year.
Recently.
The company has invested a lot recently.
She got very fat during the winter.
In the last few months.
She's gotten very fat in the last few months. Exercise 2. Listen.
Did Mary sing last night?
Yes.
Yes, she sang last night. Now it's your turn.
Did Mary sing last night?
Yes.
Yes, she sang last night.
Did you meet the Smiths at the party?
Yes.
Yes, I met them at the party.
Did you make your sweater?
Yes.
Yes, I made it.
Did they leave this morning?
Yes.
Yes, they left this morning.
Did you get me a drink?
Yes.
Yes, I got you a drink.
Did Susan see her mother?
Yes.
Yes, she saw her mother. Exercise 3. Listen.
Chocolate? Vanilla ice cream?
Do you prefer chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
A seat in the smoking, non-smoking section.
Do you prefer a seat in the smoking or the non-smoking section?
Now it's your turn.
Chocolate? Vanilla ice cream?
Do you prefer chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
A seat in the smoking, non-smoking section.
Do you prefer a seat in the smoking or the non-smoking section?
A window seat, an aisle seat.
Do you prefer a window seat or an aisle seat?
A fish dish, a meat dish.
Do you prefer a fish dish or a meat dish?
The gray sweater, the red one.
Do you prefer the gray sweater or the red one?
Exercise 4. Listen.
The plane left 5 minutes ago.
In 10 minutes.
The plane is leaving in 10 minutes. Now it's your turn.
The plane left 5 minutes ago.
In 10 minutes.
The plane's leaving in 10 minutes.
My mother came to see us last Christmas.
Next Christmas.
My mother's coming to see us next Christmas.
Jack met Jane outside the theater yesterday.
In an hour.
Jack's meeting Jane outside the theater in an hour.
We gave Frances a book for her last birthday.
Next birthday.
We're giving Frances a book for her next birthday.
I traveled around France last summer.
This summer.
I'm traveling around France this summer.
They got Pam a record for her birthday last Thursday.
Next Saturday.
They're getting Pam a record for her birthday next Saturday. Exercise 5. Listen.
I've already heard you sing.
I haven't heard you sing yet.
He hasn't checked in yet.
He's already checked in.
Now it's your turn.
I've already heard you sing.
I haven't heard you sing yet.
He hasn't checked in yet.
He's already checked in.
They've already gone to Japan.
They haven't gone to Japan yet.
We haven't bought our tickets yet.
We've already bought our tickets.
I've already seen Some Like It Hot.
I haven't seen Some Like It Hot yet.
Karen hasn't gone on vacation yet.
Karen's already gone on vacation.
Exercise 6. Listen and repeat.
I hope you know how to scramble eggs.
I think she sings very well.
They think we're a bit drunk.
I hope Art and Harry have some money.
I'm broke.
I think it'll be a sunny day tomorrow.
We hope you've changed your mind about us. Unit 3. Take a break 5. Unit 3. Take a break 5. Listen. Number 1.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the Statue of Liberty from a boat.
2.
Should we sit in the orchestra or in the balcony?
3.
What time do we land?
4.
What should we have as an appetizer?
5.
Should we take this table? We'll be able to hear better.